Hello everyone, Bradley Sward here. In this video today is the 2022 Advent of Code Day 5 solution. The problem otherwise known as supply stacks. And so the problem is literally stacking and moving things around from stack to stack. And I kind of hard coded the first part here because there's no reason to write some code. I'm sure those of you who know how to parse this data a lot quicker than I can come up with a better way. But I just kind of hard coded that, as you'll see in a minute. And so literally what you're trying to do is move one item from stack 2 to stack 1 in this case. So this put the D onto P. And then it would say, oh, let's move 3 of them from 1 to 3. And so it would say like, oh, so in this case, let's just say, well, I guess let's just say I was trying to move 3 from 2 to 1 or something like that. That would mean like I'm trying to move 3 items from here to there, and it'll take one at a time. So D would go onto the stack, then C, and then M, and this kind of just shows everything as we're talking about that kind of. So that's the idea here. This number of times, take the top item from this stack and put it onto that stack. And then at the end of the day, what letters are the ones that make up your basically your 9 stacks in my case anyway. So let me find my code here. So again, just to kind of go through this, I hard coded the literal stacks here. I probably could have made it a little easier using strings instead of character lists, but you know, got an answer. So here is a bunch of it. You know, my data. I won't pull it up, but because you guys have your own data that you can apply. And so basically, I just set up a list of lists here. And so from every one of these, I go, here is my data, and I'm going to, okay, for every line that I get out of my file, I go here, element 1, you know, the second element here, that's the number of times I'm going to loop. And so it says I'm going to loop that many number of times, and then I'm going to basically take the first item from the stack, delete it off the stack, and then move it to the other, wherever the other place might be. And F is from and T is to, so get the from, get the letter, delete the letter, and then move it over to wherever it needs to go, and do that over and over and over again for every line in here, however many times for each line. And when you do that, you can already see the answer here. And you can see that basically then at the end of the day, go through everything. And I wanted to make sure, because in my code, or in my data file, that everything starts from a 1. So I just added an empty list and 0 to make it work. And so when I do that, I go, okay, give me the top element of each stack and throw it into there. And then you get, in my case, you get the GRT, blah, 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 whatever. And you can see that matches up. Oops, you can one of these days. There we go. And you can see that for part 1, it's GRT, blah, 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 just like I said, with 2 H's to end the thing here. And there's my 2 H's to end the thing. So then for part 2, instead of basically taking one element at a time, when it says take 3 elements from part 1 to part 2 or something, instead of moving them one by one by one, it basically can pick up all 3 of them in one swoop. So basically turning a stack into a queue, I guess, is how you want to maybe think about it. I think I'm saying it right. It's late and it's already day 5, and I'm kind of tired from staying up this late every night. But you kind of get what I'm getting at. So the only difference here, like I basically stole this code, just copy pasted everything, as you can see here, and instead, and again, you know, there are easier ways to do this, but in my head I was just like, let's just get an answer and get it out. So basically what I did was I put as I was, you know, picking up the characters one by one by one like I did before, I was putting it into this new list data structure, but I was putting it in as a queue instead of as a stack. And then I can go ahead and append the queue letter by letter into the end of the stack. So that's where my difference comes in here compared to part. I wish I could, you know, show you side by side, but you can kind of see that that's the only difference here, is that basically instead of inserting the letters immediately inside this first for loop, I'm basically taking those characters and putting them into a queue. And then now that instead of it being a stack operation, now it's a queue operation, and now I can throw those letters onto the stack in reverse order just by doing that. And when you do that, you see here, you get this queue blah, 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 my queue blah, blah, blah thing. And that's going to be my trademark for the night, queue blah, blah, blah thing. And so there's my answer to part 1 and part 2. Let me pull up the code one more time for those you guys who can see it. So part 1 fits all on here. This is the data. This is the part 0 part, getting the data into a format we can use. Here's part 1, and then part 2 is just slightly different. So that's, oops, I guess, yeah, that is my solution. So there's my solution. If you have any questions or concerns or better ways to do this, I'd love to know how to do this a lot quicker. I'm giving this a break and moving on to other things. New week is starting up. But thanks for sticking it out with me as always in this video. Have a great day. I hope to see you guys for day 6 coming soon in 2 hours. Take care, everybody. Take care. Bye.